From this computer in her Oregon home, it's hard to believe that Jocelyn Zichterman may be the single greatest threat to thousands of churches many Americans have never heard of, the Independent Fundamental Baptist Churches, or IFB. After spending her entire life in the church, allegedly suffering physical and sexual abuse, Jocelyn refuses to call the IFB a church.
You are pretty clear and unequivocal that you think it's a cult.
A cult is a group of people who have rules and regulations that keep a high measure of control over the people within the group. 100%, that is a definition that fits the IFB.
In 2006, Jocelyn says she began the agonizing process of extracting herself and her family from the church.
And were you immediately shunned and ostracized for making this break?
We lost every family member, every friend we ever had. You know, it's kind of like in one moment, you know. So we went through just extreme deep grief.
Then in 2008, Jocelyn decided to transform her grief into healing, helping to create this website on Facebook called the Independent Fundamental Baptist Cult Survivors, hoping that other victims would come forward.
I had a decision to make that either I was going to kind of curl up in the corner and be quiet, or I was going to stand up for my family and tell the truth. Within 6 months, over 1,000 emails had come through my email box.
1,000?
Yes.
From people?
All over the country.
Who also claim to have been victims?
Absolutely. Of physical, sexual, spiritual abuse, anything you could possibly imagine.
All in the
Incest.
IFB Church?
That's right.
But Pastor Brian Fuller says the IFB is not a cult.
They're independent fundamental Baptist churches that are highly controlling, that do some quite bozo things. But to broad brush them and to say, okay, this is what every independent fundamental Baptist church is, isn't fair-handed. If there are churches like that, obviously they need to own up to what they've done.
Is there a problem, though, with IFB churches and the abuse of children?